Ding dong YouTube, welcome back to the channel. I'm the Jobless Coder, and this is the day 37 update for the events happening in Lake Louise and Bow Valley area following the fire on July 3rd that destroyed our home. And as each day goes by, things are slowly starting to get better. You can see that I have on a relatively unique looking shirt. This was something that I had previously owned. I got it from Spencer's Giftware. It's a special store here in Canada that you can find in malls and such. And then I had brought it with me, and then it burned in the fire. Well, I found a replacement for it on eBay, and so I went up to Lake Louise today to pick up some mail. So this is one of the items that I picked up in the mail today was this shirt. Now it is small, and I normally get medium or large, and it's a little bit snug, but it actually still fits, and it is definitely wearable. So that's definitely good news to see, is that things are definitely getting better with the replacement of items. This is the shirt that I was intending on wearing if I had got Employee of the Month, because they do this program at Ski Louise where you have this nice banquet dinner and stuff if you get Employee of the Month. And so I had this plus a really nice snowflake tie that I got in my stocking for Christmas. So I've gotten the tie replaced, and now I've gotten the shirt replaced. And as far as I'm aware, there is no such Employee of the Month program here at Sunshine Village. At least if there is, I don't know anything about it. There is at Ski Louise, and so it's like, if I had have got Employee of the Month, had none of this shit happened, then this is what I was wanting to wear to that special banquet dinner. So I've also gotten some really cool socks and everything replaced as well, and so that is something that I got in the mail here at Sunshine Village. Given everything that I'm now getting in the future, I'm going to be shipping here. I also have my ID, my driver's license. It came in the mail today, so I'm now legal again. I exist as a person because I have some ID. So that's definitely good news, given that I'm going to have to go in and probably open a bank account in Banff, or get to talk to, I think, BMO. I might have an account with them. If I'm getting all of my tips for trappers here in cash, I'm going to need to deposit the cash tips somewhere. So that was today. I went into Banff and I did a few things in Banff and wandered around, picked up some groceries. Well, not groceries, but supplies. And then I was hoping to go up to Lake Louise today, the actual lake, and then walk down the mountain to the village, and then walk from the village up to the ski resort, do a nice little hike. But a few things: it's rainy here, which it's been rainy quite a bit. We had the power go out last night 2 times while I was working at Trappers, and I hear that there was another, I think it was Sulphur Mountain, had an incident where the power went out and people got stranded on the gondola all night. So that sounded like fun, completely. Yeah, total fun. So, unfortunately, with the weather, but also not just that, the bus system from Banff to Lake Louise is always very, very bad, because you can never get on the bus. You have to wait, and then the next bus comes in an hour, and then sometimes you can't get on that one either. So, although I was at the bus stop at noon, I didn't get on the bus until 1:45, and then that put me behind an hour and 45 minutes, so that I didn't have that extra time. I was also hoping to stop by the restaurant that my former manager now works to see if he was in the kitchen, but I had messaged him earlier and he said that he wasn't working today. Um, the other thing that happened today, at least for Sunshine employees, is they had a bus that took them into Calgary to the Sunridge Mall to do a bunch of shopping there. So this shirt, having gotten it at Spencer's, I could have gone to the mall today and potentially looked for another one. I had already bought this on eBay and I didn't know if small would fit me, and if I went to Spencer's, probably I wouldn't have found it anyways, because the way that this giftware shop works is they have a lot of unique items, and when they run out, that's basically it. They don't restock them. So instead, I went to Lake Louise to get the mail. I ended up standing in line with this guy that I met. His name was David, and we talked for quite a bit. He came from Toronto for a vacation here for a few days, and so he was unfamiliar with the story of what had happened with the fire and everything. Obviously, it's big news for everyone here in the area. You go into shops and stuff, or they say, "Oh, can I see your ID?" It's like, "No, it burned," and they just look and they're like, "Lake Louise, yeah, okay." Nothing really you can do about that. But now I have ID replaced, so that's good news. So then I basically got dropped off in the village, and I was walking up to the ski resort when one of the bus drivers pulled over and gave me a ride, which was just as well because it gave me a bit of extra time at the ski resort to wander around and do some things. I had lunch there. I had this little voucher card that was $10 coupon for the food and beverage anywhere on the hill, because one of the days that I had come in after the fire had happened, one of the managers was going around and handing out cards to everyone for exceptional service. Everyone that was in the kitchen that day got this exceptional service card, and then I traded that card in for this $10 gift card, which I used today. So it's just kind of like I roll my eyes. I got the exceptional service card, and then days later they fired me. But it is what it is. And so I went and I picked up the mail that I had today. One of the other things that I had got was replacements now for the personal trainer certificates. So there's a certificate and then the letter that comes with it here. I think the letter's upside down there. So I had previously shown what these had looked like because I got them back in a different video, and I showed them damaged and everything with the fire. The fire had completely destroyed the lamination. And oh, hey. No worries, I'm just filming a video. So the fire had destroyed the lamination, and on this letter actually it had punctured right through. There was a big hole to the other side, and then on this certificate here it was still legible, but the lamination had a bunch of burn marks on it. So you can go to that video and see what that looks like. So I got those, and then I wanted to immediately laminate them because I wanted to protect them or make them waterproof. And instead of making them waterproof, it's like I never anticipated that they would be destroyed anyways in a fire. So I went to HR and asked if they had a lamination machine. They didn't, but they told me to go to housing. So housing didn't, freaking mosquito. So housing didn't have a lamination machine either. They told me that the food and beverage office does. So I went up to the food and beverage office and I asked about the lamination machine. I saw one of the managers there who was in the meeting when I was fired, or let go basically. Everyone says, no, you're not fired. You know, same difference. I was let go technically, furloughed. Well, not furloughed either. That's different. And so, you know, he genuinely apologized for having to do that. And it's like, hey, look, man, you know, you have to make tough choices when you're in this position as a manager, obviously. But he apologized and he asked how I was doing and if I got another job. So I told him about this one. And so he congratulated me and gave me a fist bump. And then he gave me the lamination machine. So I got these two documents now laminated. I can tape them up on my wall here. So that's nice that I have that. I had mentioned in a previous video the funeral card that my mom had picked up, so we're going to get that laminated at some point. In terms of other things happening, it sounds like fucking chaos, really. I went to breakfast this morning and I heard that there was another 5 kitchen staff that were going to be quitting today, and so it's like, oh damn. And I heard one of them, and immediately the moment that I heard that one person was quitting, I knew that one other person was quitting, because the two of them are like best friends. They're almost inseparable. Anytime I would see one, the other would be fairly close by, and they usually would work together. So I figured if one of them was quitting, his friend was most likely quitting. So when I was having lunch today, I actually saw his friend and I was like, oh yeah, I hear he's quitting. And he looks at me, he says, we're all quitting. And I was like, oh damn, that's not very good. But yeah, unfortunately that's the situation as it is. A lot of people had already planned to quit anyways and go back home when they got their documents reissued, and it sounds like a lot of people are getting their passports reissued. One of the couples here on the mountain, they left today, and I met them on the bus and everything on the way out. They were going to Calgary International Airport to fly home, and so they're going to be gone. They hope to be back in the winter time for skiing, and it sounds like a lot of people are doing that. They want to go home for at least a little bit, and then some will plan to come back in the winter when it's actually, you know, ski season at a ski hill. So yeah, I also saw some of the female staff that work on the front end, and they also said they were quitting, which is different than the 5 guys in the back end of the kitchen that I heard were quitting. So it's unfortunate that this is what it has come to, really. You know, I hope to see a lot of these people again at some point in the future if they come back for ski season in the winter time. But I do know that a good many of them I'll probably never really see again. But you know, that's how things work. I met this guy David on the bus, and he was really cool, and I talked with him for like 2 hours waiting for the bus, and then another hour on the bus, and I probably will never see or hear from him again, because that's all I know about him, is that he's David. um, so yeah, pretty much that's everything that happened today. I am under the impression, or at least I was told, that today is when tips are paid out for Trapper's Restaurant. Now, I wasn't here working, so I didn't get that, but I guess if I go in tomorrow for work, I will get that. And then tomorrow is supposed to be my first paycheck for here. So bing, bang, boom, literally one after another. I got my final pay for Lake Louise yesterday. The pay stub comes today, and then the tips apparently came today, and then tomorrow I'm getting paid here. So I'll just roll right into that and do another 2 weeks of work, and every 2 weeks going forward I'll be getting paid while working here. So that sounds like the plan for the future, and I'm gonna keep doing some videos at least until the weekend when everyone here goes away. That is the date that they've been given to move out, is on Saturday, and it sounds like some people have already done so, taken the liberty to move out prior to that deadline. And then for the meantime, they're just basically going to stay here as long as they can to partake in the free rent and food program that they've got going on. So I want to thank everyone for watching the video, and make sure to tune in tomorrow's episode, share it out with your friends to keep them informed, and until then, I'll see you tomorrow. Goodbye. Hold on.